Now, the US government has begun its appeal against a UK court's decision not to extradite WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. In January, a judge ruled that the journalist was unfit to be moved to the US to face espionage charges, but lawyers were granted right to appeal. Assange has been detained in the UK since 2019 for skipping bail during a separate legal battle. US prosecutors indicted him over WikiLeaks' publication of thousands of leaked military and diplomatic documents. Assange's partner, Stella Morris, says it's unthinkable that a UK court will agree to the extradition.
What's at stake here isn't what is argued in court today. It's about whether the UK courts are going to extradite a journalist to the country that conspired to assassinate him. It is completely unthinkable that the UK courts could agree to that.
Let's cross to London to speak to our reporter, Tig Enright. Tig, good to see you. Why is this case once again back in court?
Hi, Paul. Well, as you mentioned, in January, a lower UK court blocked Julian Assange's extradition to the United States, saying there was evidence that he might kill himself if he was sent to a high-security prison in the US. And the US government is now seeking to overturn that ruling, saying that the judge in the district court was misled in testimony by a psychiatrist about the risk of suicide, claiming that the US didn't get a chance to respond to that evidence, and making pretty unprecedented pledges on behalf of the US government seeking his extradition, saying that if he were to be extradited, he would not be put into solitary confinement unless he committed a further offence. He would have any medical support which prison clinicians recommended, and that if he so chose to do so, he could apply to serve his prison sentence in Australia, and the US would agree to that. And lawyers for the US said that those were binding assurances in their case set out here at the High Court today. Now, most of today's hearing was taken up with the US position, but Assange's team clearly want the original court ruling upheld, and they did tell the court today that there was nothing to say that Australia would accept him as a prisoner were he to choose to serve any sentence there. They will continue their evidence tomorrow before the court retires, and it could take several weeks before we hear a ruling from the High Court.
If the ruling doesn't go in Julian Assange's favour, can he appeal?
Well, it's a bit more complicated than that. If the US appeal here at the High Court is actually upheld, well, then the case gets sent back to the district court to decide on the extradition. And of course, whatever way that might go, there is the further potential of another appeal to the UK Supreme Court. So we're not at the end of the road just yet. For now, Julian Assange continues to be held in the high security Belmarsh prison here in London. Supporters, and there are many of them, who've been protesting here all day, have called for his immediate release. There are high-profile individuals among them from the human rights group Amnesty International, and even the Chinese exiled artist Ai Weiwei turned up here today, showing their support for Julian Assange and encouraging US President Biden to drop all the charges against him.